So I've had this idea kicking around in my head for a while that maybe what I should do to just change things up with the podcast a little bit is every now and then, or I don't know, maybe every week, just tell a science fiction story. And what I should probably do is write out that story in advance and then go ahead and tell it in a compelling way, demonstrating that I've spent at the very least, I don't know, minutes or hours of hard work on it and crafting it into something crafted, or I could just wing it and make it up on the fly. So there's something about winging it and making it up on the fly that's the direction we're going to go. A little less gassy tonight, by the way. That's a non sequitur, but I don't think that'll be part of the story. But then again, we'll see. So, I don't know. 200 years from now on the planet Ellen Barkin. They named the planet after Ellen Barkin. They were a huge fan of her work. So whoever found the planet said, I'm naming it Ellen Barkin. I found the planet. What are you going to do? And the other colonists who landed there with him said, well, he can't argue. And, does anyone not like Ellen Barkin? No, we all enjoy Ellen Barkin's work. Her oeuvre of work is resplendent. All right, planet Ellen Barkin, there it is. So, 200 years go by, there's a colony on the planet Ellen Barkin. And there's, 1,005 colonists. And they're, doing their thing. They're terraforming the planet. They're making it more and more habitable for life. And the leader of the colony, this isn't the one who discovered the colony. The one who discovered the colony, his name was Ellen Barkin. He was really, really obsessed with Ellen Barkin. Too obsessed with Ellen Barkin, frankly. And people thought he was crazy. But lo and behold, he was the one who found the planet. They were lost. They were flying all over the place trying to find something. And there were a lot of planets that they looked at. There was the Alan Alda planet that wasn't quite right. There was the Alan Arkin planet, close. The Arkin was there, but not quite right. There was the James Spader planet, and that planet was really it was an intense planet. The planet was very intense, and they were like, we can take this in small doses, but not all the time. And then they found out the Ellen Barkin planet, and Ellen Barkin said, "We're going to Ellen Barkin, not the actual Ellen Barkin. This is the colonizer Ellen Barkin." That's what he said. So they found the planet, and the leader of the colonists, his name was Jim, not named after anyone in particular, just Jim Thompson, leader of the colonists on the planet Ellen Barkin. And for a long time things were pretty much status quo. They were terraforming. At first it was basically just a moon, and then they added some ground cover. Added some geraniums. There was a little bit of a drama there because a lot of the colonists were saying maybe we should add things we could eat. But it turns out you can eat geraniums. They're not that great. And they followed up with kale, and then after that some cabbage, and whoever was in charge of making the decisions on what to grow was promptly fired and replaced with someone who could make some things. As soon as they could get to being able to make fine Italian dishes, then the colony was really, moving on all four cylinders on the planet Ellen Barkin. And I should be clear, it's a moon, it's not a planet. No offense to planets or moons. But there's a particular night on the planet Ellen Barkin where Jim's son, Tim, and his friends were running around in a deserted field. And they were far away from the terraforming rigs and the jeeps. Somehow it's 200 years later. They still have the same jeep. Nothing's changed with the jeep. I guess, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You'd think by now they'd have hover Jeeps, but no. Let's keep with the Jeep. Same roll bar, same general configuration. So they are running around in the field, Tim and his friends, and they happen upon what appears to be the wreckage of a spaceship. Not a human spaceship. I could tell it was not a human spaceship because it looked cool. It didn't look bulky, and it didn't look like something where you look at it and go, I don't want to get in that. That's how you know it's a human spaceship. Oh, what? It's just a controlled explosion that blasts off into space, and you have a joystick that really doesn't do much. You just kind of hope the math works. Yeah, I'll skip that. No, this was this cool-looking spaceship. It was sleek. It was round. It was like what would happen if a Ferrari and Isabella Rossellini had a baby, which actually probably would have a lot of problems, because it wouldn't be I don't think it would be a baby that could drive particularly far, nor would it be a car that was particularly good at being a human being. Yeah, that might be a bad. It was a cool looking ship, therefore alien. And Tim, was a little nervous, but his best friend, Riff. Of course, there's always a best friend named Riff, who's always a troublemaker. He said, let's check it out. And Tim said, I'm not sure we should do that. It looks cool, which means trouble. If we break it, think of the insurance. And Riff said, you're 15 years old. No other 15-year-olds talk about insurance. And Tim said, well, it's never too early to start thinking about it. Certainly, at our age, life insurance might be a bit premature, but, apartment insurance might be a good idea, especially for those of us who are thinking of moving out. And by then, all the rest of the friends had left Tim, who was continuing to talk about insurance, as they went and tried to see if they could get inside the strange alien machine. There didn't seem to be any doors or windows. There was one hole, and Riff started to say something, and Tim said, stop. No, let's not go there. Let's not make this R-rated. Let's not make this X-rated. Let's not do that. Why? Yes, we're 15, but why do we have to act like we're 15 all the time? Don't go there. Don't go there with what you were thinking. Don't go there. So Riff obliged and immediately shoved his hand into the hole. And believe me, that's the least dirty way we could proceed with this story. Shoved his hand in the hole, and suddenly the giant object erupted into a great cosmic sea of light. It ceased to be a solid object and transformed into a sea of light. And a voice emanated from that light. And the voice said, I couldn't help it over here, you guys talking about insurance, and I just so happened to be an insurance agent. An alien insurance. Well, I'm not an alien. To me, I'm me. You're the aliens from my perspective, but I am an insurance agent. I sell insurance to various species. And judging by what I've seen of your species, I really think you should invest in every kind of insurance I can sell you. And Tim said, thank you, finally, a kindred spirit. Do you have apartment insurance? And the entity said, well, yeah, we can talk about apartment insurance, or we can talk about the kind of insurance that I think your species really needs. Extinction insurance. Oh, tell us more, Tim said. And the entity said, well, in the event that your species becomes extinct, we will ensure that the sum total knowledge, memories, all of your art, all of your science, every single record, every single moment that you have recorded of the entire lifespan of your species will be preserved and shared with 1,000 other species, ensuring that if every single one of you ceases to exist, you will effectively be immortal as a memory that will never die. And everyone was understandably shocked by this, and there was an enormous amount of emotional impact as the words sunk in and they thought about this. And Riff followed it up by saying, so how does your species copulate? Like, do you do it at all? I mean, if you're just light, like, let's say you hit infrared light. I mean, is that for you like a night out on the town? You know what I mean? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And this is truly an amazing thing, because this is a being of light, a being of pure energy, and yet somehow it managed to emit a sigh of aggravation. It didn't even have lungs. But yeah, it totally emitted that sigh of aggravation, and everyone, especially Tim, knew exactly what it was thinking in that moment. I'm trying to help you, the entity said. You have to understand that your species, more than likely, will destroy itself. And then that will be it. That'll be the end. You will cease to exist. You will be forgotten. And all that you have worked for will come to nothing. It is all but inevitable. And what I offer you is the last chance to live on. And then Tim said, well, what are the monthly payments? And the entity said, it's going to be $5,000 a month. And Tim said, no, no, it's out of our budget. I can tell you right now that, no. I mean, at least not right now. Maybe, can you check back in like 50 years? We're still a relatively young colony. Can you check, like, can you give us a call back in 50 years? And the entity suddenly burst into an even greater light and disappeared. There was a flash and then nothing. And they were alone, and they sensed, all of them sensed, especially Tim. Tim sensed that he would never see that alien again. And that the one chance they had, potentially, to be remembered may never come along. And as they walked back to the colony, Tim was unusually quiet. Usually he was, not that he was the most talkative person, but usually he would be ridiculing and being neurotic, but he was just stoic. Riff, after a while, was concerned, walked up and said, Tim, you okay? Everything all right with you? And Tim said, just never occurred to me that one day I'll be forgotten. I don't know, I always assumed that I would do at least something to be remembered, or at least someone would remember me. And I don't know, I just feel sad about that. And then Riff said, I really wish I had done something else with that whole, oh, right, Tim was stopped right there. It's okay. This is what's unfair about our relationship. You can talk to me about your problems, but if I try to talk to you about my problems, it's just immediately to the joke. That's inevitably what happens. And it was Riff now who was quiet for a moment, and then he responded, well, listen, has it ever occurred to you that if life were like a book, this is Zorba the Greek, and I'm Zorba? And Tim went, wow. I did not expect that from you. That was incredibly literate. You blew my mind right there. That was a left turn. And Riff said, well, that's what life is. A series of left turns, a series of surprises. And let me tell you something. If this is like any other insurance guy, if this is like any other, capitalist entity, the entity that we dealt with, we're going to see him in a month. I promise you. Alas, Riff was incorrect. It was 2 months, and then it showed up again, and it did the same old spiel. And then after a while, like every 2 months, it would show up, and one of the colonists would find it, and there'd be discussion about what to stick in the hole, and then it would give the same spiel, and everyone would go, nah, 5,000. No, never, and it never once lowered its prices. Never once even tried. Like, people would ask, well, I'll do it for 4, and it would just disappear. It just would not take anything less than $5,000. And in the entire existence of the colony, nobody ever dropped the $5,000, even out of curiosity. There was times where there were people who had way more than $5,000, but it was just like, no, it just seems too steep. I don't know. It's $5,000, $4,500 maybe, but $5,000, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, well, there it is, kids. Short story number 1.